What's going on, my friends? Tonight, it's a pupusa. So, I've only reviewed pupusas one time on the channel, and that was because I thought they were something special. No, twice, I'm sorry. Two times. And both times were kind of special. The first time, it was a habanero pupusa at a local, Salvadorian taqueria type establishment. And then the other one was like a homemade one with some scorpion slaw that a friend of mine gave me. Those were chicharron pupusas. So I figured tonight I'd go to my favorite place, my favorite Salvadorian restaurant. I've reviewed their salsa roja sauce before. So this is El Pulgarcito in Sparks, Nevada. And this particular pupusa is not on their menu, but they make them for me. I don't know. I would surmise they would make them for anybody. They just never argued. I go here a lot. I've gone here a lot. I've had my ups and downs with the place, and I stopped going for a while. But I wanted to review it tonight because it is spicy, and it does fit the narrative of the channel. But this is a bean, cheese, and jalapeno pupusa. And they're just some of the best pupusas I've ever had. And again, I'm not an expert on pupusas. In fact, I like to cook a lot, and I've never made pupusas homemade. Now I've eaten quite a few. I've worked with a lot of Salvadorian people and had their family, bring them in. I've bought pupusas off of coworkers, family members, etc. The one thing I don't like about normal traditional pupusas is the tomato sauce that generally accompanies it, right? You got the pupusa with the masa, the fillings, whatever, your slaw on top, and then generally it's like a red tomato sauce that's used. I've never had a good one. I'm going to just be honest. Again, I'm no professional pupusa reviewer, but I never had a good one. And I think that's just because it's not spicy enough for me. But a lot of them don't have a lot of flavor. It's just like watered down tomato sauce, right? So, and I got quite a few pupusas for dinner tonight, but we're just going to review one. But this is the slaw. It's got some chunks of jalapeno, carrots, cabbage, the works. So let's go ahead and get this dolled up. And then I just use their spicy salsa or sauce, whatever you want to say, on top of my pupusas. It's a different sauce than what they'll give to you, just a regular tomato sauce. I'm not big on that. So I like to get a little bit of the chunks of jalapeno on there. They don't put a lot in there. I don't ask for anything special other than the pupusa itself's not on the menu this way. And I stopped going to the other establishment. It's a little farther away from my house. That's part of it. But the place that offers habanero, it's just on the menu. El Paisano. This is El Pulgarcito, which I prefer. I think their pupusas are better. The overall flavor is better. But they offer at the other place, the habanero and cheese. But I've asked them before, can you make habanero beans and cheese? No. A lot of places won't switch it up. And then again, we've reviewed this salsa on the taqueria style sauce reviews, but we're not going to review it. It's good, It's got a nice depth to it. I generally like to pour about 1 full cup on the pupusa. They generally they hook me up. It took a minute, but like I said, I go there quite a bit, so that's what we're working with. Bean cheese, jalapeno pupusa with the homemade slaw on top. couple fresh little slivers. Okay, they're real thin slivers of jalapeno with their spiciest salsa on top. Little rolling rock tonight. Anyways, hope everybody's having a good day. I'm still under the weather quite a bit. I'm talking a lot right now because I'm trying to let this cool down for temperature wise. They're temperature hot. But usually if I eat about 3 or 4 of these, usually 3 is my limit at a time because it's pretty filling. But I get a good little burn going from this generally, mostly up in here because it is kind of messy once you start eating it. But anyways, good structural integrity to them. They hold together pretty well. But I think it's pretty safe to say this is my favorite food. These things are addicting, man. They're like crack. They're just, it's the masa, the beans, the cheese, the jalapeno, just all inside the pupusa. It's creamy. It's a little spicy. It's a little rich with the cheese, but you get a lot of the breading, and it starts crisping up a little bit on the outside. Sometimes I'll eat them just without the slaw and sauce, just raw dog them, and they're fucking great. My gosh. I got some spice coming, you know. It's right on the front of the palate and right on my upper lip. Again, a lot of that's coming just from the sauce on top, just kind of coating the upper lip, but sometimes they make them a little different. They're generally, for the most part, all the same. But it's fantastic. Sometimes they're making them a little bit fatter. Sometimes they make them a little bit spicier. This particular one wasn't overly spicy with the filling. Okay, sometimes I get a good amount of jalapenos inside the pupusa. This particular one, not as much. But I feel like the salsa roja is extra warm today compared to other times, right? It's all in-house. It's all made. I'd like to say every day, but there's probably a few days where some of it carries over. It's a small business, mom and pop, brother and sister run the place. Pop's there in the mornings for breakfast. I've never had breakfast here. It's a Mexican and Salvadorian restaurant called El Pulgarcito, Sparks, Nevada. Now, Their Mexican food, but the Salvadorian food, well, the pupusas. I've never had anything other than the pupusas on the Salvadorian side. When I first got invited to this restaurant by a friend and first went there, and for the first few times, it's right by my house, so I've gone there quite a bit. But years ago, and we're talking, this is dating back pre-COVID, I've been going here. But I used to just stick with the Mexican food because I wasn't real big on pupusas at that time. I'd had them, whatever. It was always that tomato sauce just kind of threw me off. But I liked it every time I put my own hot sauce on there or whatnot. Anyway, I digress. Their Mexican food, it's okay. It's not the greatest. Stick to the pupusas and maybe some of the other Salvadorian dishes, but I've had their tacos, their enchiladas. I think I've had a burrito from there. Okay, but the pupusas, some of the best I've ever had. And again, I've had homemade pupusas from, coworkers and friends, mom and pops, just sell it out of their home kitchen shit. And they've all been great, but these ones that I can just get like that, they're phenomenal. And I got a good little warmth to just that one, right? Front of the palate, like I said, upper lip for sure. A lot of that's coming from the slaw and the hot sauce, but every once in a while I get one that they put a shit ton of jalapenos on the inside. And boy, when you get those ones, really tasty. So that was good. But anyways, just wanted to share that. If you're ever in the greater Sparks, Nevada, East Reno, East Sparks, El Pulgarcito, if you're looking for a pupusa. And again, their Mexican food, it's not terrible, right? Like, it's better than Taco Bell. It's better than, fucking Jack in the Box tacos or, Del Taco for that matter. It's close to authentic, but it's a little different. So anyways, now I'm just blabbering, but hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to go finish the rest of this food, and I got some for lunch tomorrow, so I bought extra. So your boy's got to go back to work tomorrow after surgery, first day back. So I'm going to get to bed early. Anyways, I love y'all. We'll see you next time. Thank you for burning with me.